Hi, it's Diana, and here we are at the story portion with our next book, Jalapeno Bagels. I am not at the bagel store today. Today I am in my studio and I changed the camera around and there's a different view, and I realized that the big thing in the background is a closet door and my camera bag. They're really not that interesting to look at, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So story portion, so we're going to talk about character. There are 3 characters in this book. There is the main character, his name is Pablo. He is a boy who is, there's no specific, but I'm going to put his age range at 7 to 9. We also know he is a main character. We know he's a main character because this is a first person narrated story. So there is an I, not an I, but a person, I did this, I did that, who narrates the story. And that I, not I, is Pablo. So that's a big clue that he's the main character. And the other 2 characters are his parents. Now, so those are the characters. The events we start out with is Pablo's been given an assignment at school, and that is to bring something in to school for International Day that shows his culture. And that's the problem, the thing he needs to solve is the question is, what do I bring? And his mother suggests, why don't you bring something from our bakery? And I'm going to stop right there. They have a bakery. That just sounds fantastic to me. If I had a bakery, or my parents had a bakery, I would eat too much. And that's probably all I need to say. I do remember when I was a kid, I just remembered this. We went on a field trip to tour a bakery, and one of the girls in my class, it was her parents' bakery. I thought that was just fantastic then. I thought she was so lucky. Okay, so Pablo has this problem. Here's an assignment. How do I fulfill this assignment? His mother suggests, if you come help us in the bakery, you can choose something to take with you for International Day. Again, I'm going to pause because it didn't say the assignment wasn't bring a food that represents your culture. It was bring something. There's a lot of things he could pick. And the fact that he picks, or his mother suggests food and he says, oh yeah, that's a good idea, makes me so happy because food is a great aspect of culture and it's yummy. Okay, so here we are. He has to decide what he's going to bring, and he gets to go help his parents. So they wake him, his mama wakes him up early in the morning because that's when bakers get up, and says, let's go. We're gonna go work in the bakery. So the book goes through different things. First I'm gonna not pronounce these correctly. I feel bad about that. It's like no matter what language I'm reading, that's enough about me. Pan dulce. So she gets out the ingredients for pan dulce, and they're making rolls. Pause again to say this book incorporates words that aren't English, like the names of the things they're baking, and I think that's really cool. That's something to talk about with analysis. We'll come back to it. Okay, so they're making it, and he's like, maybe this is what I'll bring. It's yummy. Maybe this is what I'll bring. And then they make something else, and they make empanadas de calabaza. And he says, again, maybe this is what I'll bring. And so far, I'm thinking he doesn't have a bad choice. Good choices, no wrong choice. Then they make chongo bars. The other 2 I've heard of. This one I had not heard of before reading this. And he says, maybe I can bring this. He's helping his mom, and he says they're my favorite. There's a little bit of humor here where he adds, when his mom's not looking, he adds some extra chocolate chips. And then his mother says, oh, these are going to be especially good because I added extra chocolate chips. Like, ooh, those things are going to have a lot of chocolate chips. And then his father calls him. So he's been working with his mother, and now his father calls him, says, hey, Pablo, come help me. I'm going to make bagels. And his father, and here we learn that his father speaks English and Yiddish, and that he's from New York, and that he's Jewish. So they go through the process of making bagels. Does he say that maybe, no, he doesn't say maybe I'll bring bagels. I'm pausing because I hear some weird noises from my dog behind me. That's not a good noise at all. Okay, stop it. Okay, took care of that. It was disgusting. Okay, so Pablo and his father are making bagels. And his father, so here we are. He makes bagels with his father. And then while the bagels are rising, they make challah bread. And Pablo says, maybe I'll bring challah bread to school. They have to come back to the bagels because bagels have to rise. It's a yeasted bread. And he says, maybe I'll bring challah bread, and they go back to the bagels. Then his mother comes into the space where they're making bagels, and together, the three of them make jalapeno bagels. I'm going to show the picture. So they look to me Christmassy. It's the color scheme. But I know it's an uncooked dough, so it's kind of white. And then they use jalapenos and red pepper flakes. Those are sounding really good. That's the last thing they bake, and his mother encourages him, you need to choose something because once we open the doors and the customers come in, they might buy it all. So Pablo's thinking, and he has gone through all those options. None of those are bad options. They all sound very yummy, and probably his classmates would enjoy them. And he's thinking about it, and then he decides he's going to bring the jalapeno bagels. We might have guessed that from the title. And his dad asks, why did you choose the jalapeno bagels? And Pablo says, because they are a mixture of both of you. Just like me. So he's chosen his thing. This represents not only his culture, but it represents him as the merging of two cultures. Okay, that might be getting to a little analysis. The other thing I'm going to say about this book, that was the whole story. The other thing I'm going to say is this is a really cool aspect. The last 2 pages have 2 recipes. And one of the recipes is for jalapeno bagels, and the other one is for the Chango bars. Since the title of this is jalapeno bagels, that's what we're going to make. And that will be in the food portion, which is next. So thanks for being with me with the story portion. And I haven't been saying this, but I hope you like the video and subscribe. And I'll see y'all again with bagels.